Hello, I'm recording this on September 17th, 2025, and that means two things. Every end is the deep end if you don't know how to swim, and it is time for the Darkness News Update. But let's get into the news because we have a study from Salvador Barra, friend of the show, and he has found that red lights used to warn off planes and birds at wind farms are a little brighter than we maybe thought. The metric he's using is that, at 4 kilometers away from the site, the lights are brighter than Venus, so that's the brightest planet. At 10 kilometers out, they are brighter than the brightest single star, and even further out than that, we are seeing that they are brighter than notable stellar objects. And the lesson is that unintended consequences will always happen. There will always be things we have to compensate for. We always have to do better. And if we rebuild how we do environmental assessments, we can, again, we can come up with something that works. We can come up with something that makes sense. It's an iterative process. We learn and we do better. So, wind farms, figuring it out. We have a new meta-study that has found that shift workers benefit from light therapy. This is focused on nurses and found that, again, meta-study, taking different results and putting them together. What actually happened is that residents, that they found that nurses who were offered light therapy immediately after their shifts or immediately going to sleep found that their sleep schedules and their reported tiredness improved. We also have a new study that shows that elder care spaces benefit from dynamic lighting. This is studies from a nursing home in Jordan that found that residents living under a dynamic lighting system slept earlier and longer and reported being less tired during the day. Arizona State University has linked lighting quality with sleep and mood in dementia patients. This was a 7-week study of just 10 people. And they found that circadian tune lighting added 82 minutes of sleep time. Again, adding all this up probably leads to a better elder care lighting system overall, but that's a small and slow process. The FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, has reviewed SpaceX's environmental impacts. They're about to allow them to launch every 3 days in theory. As many as every 3 days. We'll see how they do because, rocketry is hard. But one of the things the FAA required of them to secure this expanded operational permit is that their support vehicles need to use roads as opposed to just going off-road and trundling over animal habitats. And they also need to reduce lighting when and where possible. We have a study from New South Wales. The University of New South Wales has found that light pollution doesn't bother microalgae much. They found limited evidence of interactive effects of algae and warming and community composition in a number of seaweed species. So the microbes, the microorganisms that live in between seaweed in Australia, they do fine in terms of lighting conditions and warmth conditions so far. We have a study from Malaysia and Brunei that has found that red light doesn't bother monkeys. These are researchers looking to observe primates at night, and they found that if they wear little red headlamps, they can just watch the monkeys do their thing and not get anything thrown at them or disturb any of them, which is good for general primatology, I guess. On the island of Hawaii, they are reviewing Bill 109 for endangered birds. The Environmental Department would like more controls requirements for all lighting to improve the overall quality of life for birds on the state. Australia has set a new petition for light pollution. This is petition number EN7346. And it is calling for motion controls and shields nationwide to mitigate the effects of light pollution. It's already at 10,000 signatures, which is Not actually a lot, but, it'll get there. 10,000 is enough to get it heard on Parliament's floor, probably. The Seattle Aquarium has begun relamping their entire facility, so that is both the aquaria, the ones that are public-facing, the ones that are behind the scenes, and also the general lighting, and they are trying to figure out an entire design system that will balance visitor needs, the tourists walking around enjoying all the exhibits, and the ones that actually are needed for fish health, which is a cool design challenge, that's what I'm saying. It is fall migration season, and bird advocates in Michigan are calling for better use of lighting during this period. The Midwest Flyway will host 1 billion birds going south for the winter. Many of them will die. Tens of millions will die due to a number of factors, including light pollution. They just get dazzled and get distracted, and they hit walls, and they get tired, and they get preyed upon because of all the light. And there are a lot of ways to fix this, but it is important that we use our light responsibly during this period, and that's why we advocate for safer, smarter, better lighting, especially during bird migration season. The Florida State Sea Turtle License Plate Fund has already seen some dividends. So these are specialty license plates that you can opt into. You can pay extra when you renew your vehicle license and have a license plate with a little turtle on it. And that money actually goes to the state park system to pay to support sea turtles. Right now, they've already secured $33,000 to buy trackers to support conservation efforts, as well as a couple of ATVs so they can roll up and down the beaches of their state beaches and help support sea turtles. In Iceland, it's puffling hatching season. Pufflings are what you call very small little hatchling puffins, and they're a lot like sea turtles in that they're born underground or in very shielded areas, and then when they pop out, they get distracted by bright lights, and that leads to bad things for the little baby birds. So right now we have volunteers and experts in the field on Iceland running around trying to find little baby pufflings and make sure that they just fly out to sea when they're ready. And how can you be mad at a creature called a puffling, especially when you see a picture? Picture up here, if you're on the video feed. They're adorable. In Tennessee, the town of Crossville is revising their lighting ordinances, specifically around a new subdivision called Fairfield Glade, and they're looking to improve their use of light at night, which would lead to requirements on brightness, shielding, color, temperature, and so forth. We'll see how that goes going ahead. In North Carolina, the town of Duck is surveying residents about what they know about light at night, and that will turn into lighting bylaw changes. This is a 13-question survey that will help inform how the city itself creates a new lighting bylaw. In Lebanon, Tennessee, they are debating neon rules. They are revising their permissions for signage. They've already rescinded a few things in terms of brightness and in otherwise business signage, but they may be tackling rope and tape lighting use in windows going ahead. In Berea, Kentucky, we have observed sky glow from a greenhouse. That is the classic purple haze, the blurple haze, I should say, over a greenhouse spilling out into the general area. And hopefully that greenhouse buys some curtains, because that's what we need to do. In Antelope, Oregon, we have a newly revamped campground. Antelope, Oregon is home to a former cult headquarters, which got turned into an RV park, and that RV park went out of business. But now that RV park has been bought by a campground. They've completely revamped it, cleared it out, opened it up, and they have built 10 A-frame cottages to attract tourists. And Antelope, Oregon is one of the first dark sky communities in Oregon. In Austin, Texas, they spent millions of dollars on lighting to go along Lady Bird Lake to stop a serial killer. There was no serial killer. The alleged Rainy Street Ripper was supposed to have caused 189 drownings over 20 years alongside the Colorado River. It turns out that that region is just where all the entertainment district was, and so people would get drunk and fall in the river and they'd just die. That's bad. It's bad, but it's still not a serial killer. What's funny is that this is not the first time it's happened. The first street lighting program in Austin was supposed to catch a serial killer, the Servant Girl Slasher. This resulted in Austin's kind of infamous moon towers, which are absurdly tall. They ran on carbon lights for decades, and they never caught the Servant Girl Slasher either. Either he was never real or he just skipped town when he saw that the police were putting giant towers of carbon lights up to stop him. In Lake Elmo, Minnesota, they have banned pickleball after dark due to light and noise complaints. Neighbors around the pickleball courts are tired of people using lights that they've brought themselves. They are tired of people bringing portable speakers that they have brought themselves, and they have grown tired of the sounds of joy and excitement of people enjoying athletic activity. Pickleball is a menace, and we need to figure out how to allow people to exercise, but not necessarily bother anyone. In Texas, the town of Fairview has planned a lawsuit to stop construction of a Latter-day Saints temple. Residents who are opposed to the temple for various reasons, including the height of the temple, the amount of light the temple will need, and just the amount of parking the temple requires, have presented a petition to City Council. City Council says, actually, we're fine with this. The residents are like, no, the petition's large enough that you have to revisit it and get a supermajority. But Council's like, actually, it's not big enough to get a supermajority. And that debate is ongoing. At the same time, the same residents that pushed the petition are also going to try for a restraining order should any shovels hit the ground. Speaking of LDS temples, in Grand Junction, Colorado, one just got completed. A LDS temple finished construction. It's up and running. They held open houses last week from the 15th to the 17th. Regular services will begin on the weekend, and that happened above and beyond and over complaints about height, lighting, and parking lot size. Lastly, I'm not going to link this in the show notes, but I just want you to know that discredited neuroscientist Jack Kruse has been running around claiming, without any sufficient evidence, that blue light destroys vitamin A in your system, which it doesn't do. And because it destroys vitamin A, that will specifically make cis-het men change either their gender expression or their sexual orientation, and that's not how that works. This is a ploy from Mr. Kruse to sell light filtering goggles that he can't also prove do the thing he says, and I invite Mr. Kruse to not say anything about health or gender or sexuality ever again. And that's going to be it for this week. We will see you in 2 weeks. I want to thank you for your time, your attention. I've been Scott Wachter. Thanks to Nailed, and thanks to our donors, and thanks to the Soft Lights Foundations. We'll see you when we see you. Take care of yourselves.